First Contact, a tale by Angel Esgardo Sanchez. The simple model, as above so below. As energy output begins at the 0 point, which way it goes, positive or negative, either way comes back through the 0 point and out through the mirror, and back again in a constant loop. Then they entered through each other's world. At their meeting they called it day, and their first meeting was the first day. Their second meeting was called the second day, and so forth. When they entered each other's world, there was awe at first, then disappointment at how similar their worlds were, but so different. They came back on their third day and had their meeting. They came back to their own worlds and began to tear down what they didn't like and rebuild what they did like, the way they wanted it. Then met again on the next day. Now smug in their accomplishments, they met as young children. When they entered the strange new worlds of the other, they did notice how different their worlds were becoming and started really disliking their opposite worlds, and set about to destroy some parts that they did not want, and build to their liking places that they did. For their own sake did they build on the opposite world, because they knew they would eventually be there again at the next meeting. At their fifth day, they met as young adults. When entering their new changed world, they were appalled at each other's meddling, and grew furious. They left the world as they were, but at their next meeting, their sixth day, they met as enemies. They decided each that the other must go. Well, one ended up killing the other, and something strange happened. Upon thrusting an arm through the other's core, they merged as one, and both worlds became one, closing the mirror world. The one now walked alone, and sad, for the loneliness was crippling. Upon walking the world, it started building things in honor of the friend it lost. Through anger and differences, it saw how everything is connected and walked to the meeting place. It sat alone for a while and closed its eyes for the first time in its existence, and the portal was open once again, and stepped forth, a being like itself, but different and beautiful. Upon their seventh day, they walked together, the one showing the beautiful one the beautiful things it created in memory of its lost friend. When the tour ended, the other spoke of wonders it dreamt, when its eyes were closed, and was grateful for opening its eyes once again. At their meeting place, after the joy of being together, the new form looked at the other and said, "If you penetrate me again, I will absorb you, but you will close your eyes and dream of beauty. At the next meeting, I will give you a gift." So the first one penetrated the new being, and the new being walked the world, and built things in memory of its beloved. It sent it to the other world, the world of unseen. The next meeting, the being sat at the meeting point and closed its eyes. A being of terrible darkness came forth. It spoke, and its voice too was changed. It came with a fury and a graveling. "I dreamt no beauty as you spoke, only of torment of what I have done. In destroying what I cherished most, and having to destroy everything over and over again and again, to never get rid of that feeling of torment. Tell me, O sender of torment, tell me, what is my gift?" The being of beauty stood up and presented a child that came from within, resembling the original child that first looked into the mirror. The dark being fell to its knees and buckled under the weight and burden of its fury. The being of beauty closed its eyes and spoke, as tears streamed down its face. Liquid life poured into the world. Then it spoke. "Take your fury and strike me. I must return to the world of unseen, for you have changed it so. My child is of you and me. Protect it with your fury controlled. If anything else, that will be my gift." The dark being, with its head cast down, its mouth gaped open, releasing creatures that squirmed and wriggled, skittered and crawled. It closed its eyes and saw how it left the world of unseen, and wept tears of molten fire, a liquid that burned and seeped into the world they created together. It closed its mouth, crunching the slithery mass that was coming forth. The child had withdrawn behind the beautiful being and looked up at its beautiful eyes. Sadness and disbelief at what it had just heard spoke. The child then looked down at the mass surrounding the dark being and looked on in horror and in fear. The dark being stood up and nodded. "I will be true to your word. I will protect this child of ours, and we will meet again. I will bear you a gift as well." The being of beauty lowered its head, embraced the child, and spoke. "Do not be afraid. I will build you a place of beauty, for I am mother." She bent down and kissed the child, and the child was beautiful. And the being of beauty stood up and faced the dark being. "You are mother as well," and kissed the dark being, and the dark being was beautiful. The being of beauty spoke. "Now quickly strike me with your fury and give me strength. The dark being summoned its fury, but not all, for the fear of torment, and struck the being of beauty in its core, and they became one. Now changed, the dark being was not so scary, and the child took its hand, and they walked the world, creating beautiful things in honor of the beauty of Mother. But there festered around the meeting point the creatures of dark, untouched by beauty, and they crept and multiplied, devoured each other, and grew. They began to consume the very world around them, spreading and ever growing. Upon their next meeting, the land around them was fouled, and the mother and the child were weary and stained with the blood of the world. The being of great beauty opened the world and poured forth its light, halting the growing mass of darkness that entered the world, the mother holding fast to the children. I have kept my promise and protected this child, and my gift to you is a daughter. Protect our children. My fury is about finished. I must rest a while. The being of great beauty took the hands of the children and cleansed them with its light. I am the All-Father. I will protect these children of mine and ours. Rest now in the core of light. Let it replenish you. I made for you a vessel that would oversee the world till our next meeting. He then took the girl and placed her in a circle to the left, and the boy in a circle to the right. Go forth, my children, play as I fix this world. The being went up to the sky and became the sun. The mother rested and awoke, and became the moon. The All-Father's Son baked away the mass that was polluting the world, but it hid. Upon their next meeting, the sun and moon switched places. The mother was now the sun in the sky, and its fury was growing, for it could not find their children. In its fury, it did not meet with the moon again, not until she found her children. The grinning moon sleeps and wakes, and its eyes see where the children are, and grins its grin because the children have their own circuits to do on their own. Safe, with the sun forever searching, and the moon forever watching over them. And now you have a tale.